Wine is known as a staple for many. It speaks of class and dignity. But did you know that there are several different ways that you can sample and taste wine? So I may ask, what do we know about wine? Well, we know that wine dates back over thousands of years, from ancient Greece to even Noah reading about it in the Bible. According to Jackie, who wrote The History of Wine, wine has been a major impact on society. It opened up trade for channels of religion and philosophical ideas in England, and it is still used in Catholic churches today as the blood of Christ. The craziest part I found is that in an old ancient fable, a woman was the inventor. This princess, who had lost the favor of her king, decided to eat a jar of spoiled grapes in an attempt to end her life. However, as we know, it did not have that effect. There are a lot of other stories about how the invention of wine came, but it was merely pure luck. Now, when it comes to wine, there are a number of variables, the most common one being red versus white. When reading What's the Difference Between Red versus White by Zachary, I learned that the key of knowing the color is how the fermentation happens. So with white wine, the grapes are peeled and the pulp is fermented. But with red wine, the skin stays on, and the longer it is, the bolder the red. Then there is the fruit structure and flavor. The flavors have a lot of different variables, but they have a primary, a secondary, and they could have many more. Red wines typically invoke berry flavors, while white wines are more of a citrus. The structure is to be imagined. How does a wine feel in your mouth? Is it sharp or smooth, broad or fresh, heavy or light? This is because the skins add tannins, which are the compounds found in many plants. So imagine biting into an apple with your skin. You're going to get a second of tang in your mouth, and that's what the tannin is. White wines, however, consist of 3 citric acid flavors: malic, tartar, and citric. When tasting wines, your meal really plays a factor. White wines tend to favor more seafood and vegetables, while red wines favor more steaks or hearty roast. I was giving a script by the Traveling Vineyard that uses to host their wine parties. It is titled My Tasting Verbiage by Kristen, to help me show you the accurate 4-step process to taste a wine. So now the fun part. If you have your glass of wine, I want you to first examine the color. Okay, is it light or dark, bright or pale? The younger the grapes, the brighter the color. The older means that the grapes has matured longer, it's sweeter, so it has a higher alcohol content. Now I want you to look at the body. To do this, you're going to tilt it to the side, but don't spill it, and tilt it back. As you see it run down, that's called the legs. And the more legs that it has, the more complex the wine is. Then I want you to smell it. Okay, give it a swirl, and smell it again. Do you smell any of the first or secondary flavors? What about any others? Now take in the aroma as you prepare your taste buds for your final step. The taste. Okay, if everyone can grab a grape and a lemon. All right, so take your first sip of your wine, and you'll see the flavor. Now try to take a bite of a grape, and enjoy the grape. Tastes good. Now try your wine again. Was it good? That is known as a bad pairing. Okay? So now I want you to take a bite of your lemon and try your wine again. Is it more smooth, more tangy? That is known as a good pairing. Okay, so that way you know if a food pairing will improve the wine or if it'll let it down. A couple notes for the future is that white wines are actually meant to be chilled. They go in a tall, narrow glass and to hold at the stem so that they keep cooler. Red wines go in a globed glass and are to be held like this at the globe so that your skin will keep the wine warm. Red wine is also really important to know that it is good if you oxidize it, leave a bottle open for 30 minutes before you drink it. White wine, that doesn't really matter. You can drink it right away. My goal was to not only educate you in the history and differences of wine, but to give you the knowledge of what to expect when drinking wine and your preferences. I hope you all take something away from this evening, and now I'll turn it over to Allie to conclude the rest of our wine tasting.
Thank you. Cheers.